What's up, guys? Nalo here. Just wanted to tell you about some cool things we got going on with the Nalo and Phil podcast, otherwise called the OHYEAH podcast. We got a cool episode here for you. It's really just a conversation between me and Phil, catching up on really the last year and some of the things that have happened. Some cool updates and some sad updates, but really the reality behind this is that we're not doing this to become YouTube famous or anything like that. This is just a hobby for us. So, we want to just make something. We have this desire inside both of us that we just want to make something and be creative. And this is what we decided to do together. So, your support in that would be great. This is just a hobby. So, you can watch or don't watch, subscribe or don't subscribe. It doesn't matter to us. But if you want to support our hobby and support what we're doing here for fun, you can like and share and subscribe on YouTube. But other than that, just stay tuned. We got a cool episode here for you. And then we've got some other things in the works that we're planning on for episode 2 and beyond. Each episode will be released every first Friday of the month is what we've planned. So that gives us some time to kind of relax and do things at our own pace. And especially this video, we tried some different lighting things, a new camera, simplified our process a little bit, so it's a little less cumbersome and a little less production for us to just do what we want to do for our hobby. So stay tuned and welcome back.
My emotions.
Making?
That's probably making a lot of noise. Ooh,
Yeah.
There's a lot of static.
You're just like rubbing yourself and
Yeah. This is like just the last like 2 or 3 months
it
I've
looks
been growing
trimmed
this.
up and nice and
Well,
calm.
it's actually not though. Like Sarah keeps saying that I look like a homeless man.
Do you think the camera's at a good height? I think we're at normal.
Or were you thinking it was too low?
Well, I mean, if I've learned anything from the internet, a higher angle is more flattering for your face.
Well, let's check it out. I can always move it.
And I need all the flattering I can get. Just put some static in it. Because it doesn't have the little thing on it, you can't like angle it down. Do you like the view of the table? Because I kind of do. Whoa.
Yeah, that first. And then yeah.
I
And then you do that.
Oh yeah, that's way better.
Oh, I need to go get my computer, actually.
Hey.
Welcome back to the OHYEAH podcast with Nalo and Phil.
Yeah. Here we are. We're back, but like it's not like we went anywhere. It's just lots of things have happened.
Life got the best of us.
What was our last episode? We had
It was with Paul.
Paul Aspen.
Yep,
one
Paul
of the cool
Aspen.
guys. I mean, that kind of reminds me of the picture in
Yep.
itself.
Zip
This
Tie
is our
Club.
our featured item. It's for sale, by the way. It's $1 million to the highest.
Yes, absolutely. If that's the price, it's definitely for sale.
Yeah, it's for sale.
Because I've been looking for. I don't know if they did posters for every single one, but I only have 2 of them.
I don't have this.
You don't have posters?
No, like I have every one of the magazines,
I have the magazines too.
and I have several copies of some.
I actually don't think I have all of them, but I have some of the
Yeah.
magazines. Yeah, I definitely want Paul. If you have any more posters, I would definitely appreciate
Yeah,
those.
if you got stuff like that hidden away, I mean, these are gems, bro.
Yeah, and they're worth
Gems.
lots of money. I'll give you $100 for all of the posters that are
I
left over.
have $99. I'll give you $99. Actually, no, I'm gonna go Price is Right style. I'll give you $100. $100.25.
Oh crap! Well, I'll give you 101.
God,
I'll give you $10,000.
that 75 cents kind of pushed me over. You can have it, Phil.
All right. So we are going to dedicate this episode to
Oh yeah,
a sad occurrence
it's
in
very like if listen, you need to pay attention and grieve with us.
recent events. Within the last week and a half.
Yeah,
Billings news.
I know. I've been thinking about it every day.
Village Inn.
The Village Inn
The
Pizza.
best pizza place in Billings.
Dude, let me just tell you. I mean, even the style of the building, like the building, the A-frame looks like you want to snowboard off of it.
But also when you're inside of it, it feels like you're kind of in a bunker, like in the A-frame part, because the windows are so small.
For sure.
You it's like a shooting hole. Like
you have to like bend over to look out the window.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think the roof tiles on this thing are from like, I don't know. They look like they're made out of recycled things from World War II.
Older than my grandma. She's 7 now,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
They don't even make the kind of roof. Maybe that's why they had to close.
They couldn't afford to re-roof it because they couldn't get the same tile.
Well, there's about 6,000 square feet of roof.
Yeah, no kidding.
On a building that's 2,000 square feet.
Yep.
So, but yeah, Village Inn Pizza, gone.
Gone forever. One of my favorite pizza places when I was a kid, and I mean, it was still up there.
Yeah, disclaimer, I have no idea if all of the Village Inn pizzas or if there's more of them. I think there's more around the state.
This is a local chain Village Inn.
Okay.
Or not a local chain. It's a local Village Inn, but there's actually a chain called Village Inn, but it's not a pizza place specifically. Like it's like a restaurant.
This is kind of a one-off
Billings
That
gem.
sucks. That's why it's so sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Domino's is still open. Pizza Hut's still open.
Yeah, I actually had Domino's tonight.
Domino's is right down the street
They
from
took
my
like
house.
an hour and a half to get to my house.
Yeah. And their blue lights are like, you can see it from space.
Yeah, every time I pass it, I'm like, oh, that's the street that you turned down to go to Nate's house.
Yeah.
You want to know how I know why?
Yeah, we had to black out our windows in our house because Domino's moved
Didn't
in.
it used to be like a cleaners? Like it used to be like a
Valet
dry cleaners?
Today. Yeah, Valet Today, like dry cleaners. It was a much peaceful world
much more
when it
peaceful
was just
world.
a dry cleaners place. But now it's just like constant Domino's
Neon
drivers
blue.
up and down my street.
Ripping too.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee they're not driving slow.
Every loud Subaru driver in Billings works for Domino's. I think.
So the guy that's funny because the guy that pulled up and delivered my pizza, he was in like the loudest Subaru GL.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not even kidding.
Like it had its exhaust completely cut off.
Yep, that's the guy.
And it was a piece of junk. But he
Sure.
doesn't work at because he works at the Domino's at Shiloh Crossing.
Yeah. He used to work at the one by my house, and it was just like constant up and down. You knew when somebody ordered pizza.
Is it a Subaru GL? Was it a GL?
It's old.
Yeah,
It's older,
yeah. It's like it was
Full
like the
wagon.
first all-wheel drive Subaru wagon.
Is it
that they had.
maroon?
No, it was like not painted. It was like like a yellow, like I don't know. It was weird.
No, yeah, that's the dude. I mean, we could tell from our living room, like, oh, there goes Domino's,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that's just how it is, man. But that's why Village Inn Pizza. Yeah, I don't know the real reason.
The real reason was probably COVID, which is most of the reason for most of the businesses going
sucks
out
so
of business.
I would rather blame it on Domino's though.
Yeah, me too. And
But-
Pizza Hut.
They're both right down the street. Pizza Hut just got a new restaurant, and Village Inn closes. Like, sucks.
Yeah.
These chains, man.
I spent so much of my childhood at Village Inn Pizza,
Oh, yeah.
and
It's like when Godfather's was like.
I think the reason why I thought it was the best pizza place in Billings was because that's actually an unpopular opinion. A lot of people don't like Village Inn Pizza, but the reason why I liked it was
Yeah.
nostalgic. Like
I agree.
It like had this weird nostalgic thing for me that I just loved eating their pizza. It was weird. I don't know.
People get really, hipster about pizza, and it's just kind of dumb. Like,
I
it
agree.
is good pizza. They make their own crust.
It's bread, sauce, and cheese. Come on, people.
Yeah,
It's
they're
really,
so
like,
used to.
There's no nuances about it.
No. They're so used to like the frozen, bulk.
Yep.
Pizza.
What I ate tonight.
Yeah.
Except they call it a hand tossed pizza crust, the one I got.
Yeah, they unfreeze it in the morning
and then they toss it with their
toss it in.
hands a couple times to say that it's hand tossed.
legit. Tossed it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, some like 16-year-old kid that has no culinary training at all is tossing dough, and now it's a hand tossed pizza.
Well, at least he's not tossing sal. I mean, what?
So yeah, needless to say, rip Village Inn Pizza.
All right.
Sucks. If you're watching this and you
Yeah.
either have owned Village Inn Pizza or you enjoy Village Inn Pizza, just I don't know, put rip in the chat, F in the chat for
Yep.
all the.
In the comments.
Yeah.
Because we're no longer live.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But that's okay, because I think this will be a better situation for us, because then we can edit some stuff together, maybe put some video in with it as well. So I think.
Yeah, we're changing it up just a little bit. I mean, what you're gonna see is like, probably, I would say I'm gonna say like less episodes, but at the same time it's like more because we haven't been making them
Yep.
because so many things have been happening.
Yep.
But it's like once a month is like what we're going for.
Yeah. And I guess to give you guys a little insight into why this hasn't happened. I guess for me at least,
Mhm.
you can speak for yourself.
I
But
will.
I guess for me, I mean, I became a dad the last
What a cool thing.
I mean,
that is.
Emery's almost a year old. Isn't that insane? That she's turning
That
one.
is insane.
She's turning 1 in like 2 weeks, or not even 2 weeks. Week and a half.
That's so cool.
It's insane.
I've been so excited for you. Like, and it's cool because I feel like my kids are growing up so dang fast that it makes me feel a little bit younger again, that like my friends have babies.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds, because like my son is going to be 17 next month.
Oh my gosh.
And he just got a job.
I met him when he was 7.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I met him when
insane.
he was when he was a baby. But I've known him longer than Phil.
I hope so.
But yeah, it's just so weird, you know. Like I don't know, time flies, man. Time
Oh,
just
I
flies.
definitely. So I mean, before you have a kid, everyone always says it's like a super cliche saying that like time flies after you have a kid, but for real, like this last year, it's felt like the longest time period of my life, but also the shortest at the same time. Like she has grown so much in just the last like 3 or 4 months. Like we were looking at because Sarah takes a picture every month or whatever, you know, the typical
Yeah.
like Instagram.
sure.
Look at my baby at 1 month. Look at my baby at 2 months. Look at my, like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And we were looking at all those pictures because she had them all printed out for her party or whatever. And it's insane the last like 4 months. So from like, I guess 8, 9, 10, 11, those months, they
Mhm.
changed so much in just 1 month. Like the first like 3 or 4 months, they look the same. They're just like this little pudgy little baby, you know. They're like just a ball of flesh, and they just want to eat and poop and
Yeah.
puke and cry. That's pretty much it. But after that, they start to get a little personality, and then they just start.
None of
growing
those
like a
things
weed.
stop though.
Yeah, that's true. At least remembering from my childhood that none of that stopped.
I was gonna calculate like how many months a 17-year-old is, but because I wasn't doing it on the top of my head, I could have just used my phone. But I was
I
trying.
bet you I can get to it faster because I'm a millennial. 204 months.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna tell people that my son's 204 months old.
That's one thing that I was talking to Sarah about. I was like, "Are you gonna be the one mom that's like, my baby is 47 months old?" And she was like, "No. As soon as she's a year old, she's a year
She's
old,
a year old, yeah.
and then she's gonna be a year and a half, and then she's gonna be 2 years."
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. We don't speak in months.
No. I mean, that's like really kicking the metric system in the balls.
What do you
Even
mean?
though like months are not really
I was
metric
gonna
or
say, I
standard.
don't know.
But I just feel like it's that American like I don't know, mindset that we have to have the standard system versus the metric.
Yeah.
It's like even more so we talk about our age in months.
It makes me wonder if people over in other countries actually use the
might.
month thing. Maybe you're onto something here. Maybe
Yeah.
they don't use it, and maybe they just
Maybe they
say a
think
year,
we're just
year and a
Those
half.
stupid Americans.
They do measure themselves in like their weight in like stone, which is interesting.
Yeah,
See,
that
at
is
least some places do. It's not everywhere. But.
That's interesting. Yeah, measuring yourself in stone or your height in
Centimeters,
centimeters. Yeah,
which is I
The
think that's
metric system.
what they do. Well, I guess they do. Maybe no, they do centimeters
Yeah,
because
centimeters.
because a
You're
meter
like,
would be too big.
right.
That's insane.
That is insane. So you're like 250 centimeters
Yeah.
tall or something.
Most places do kilos, I guess, for like
For
kg
weight.
for weight. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Formula One
Oh yeah.
in our
yeah.
time off.
Dude, I'm in season 2 of
Wait,
the
hold on.
show.
We gotta stop.
Okay.
What's your excuse?
Oh, what's my excuse for not recording podcasts?
Yeah.
I have none. Really? I mean, like, honestly.
Your excuse is my excuse. I had
Yeah.
a kid.
Well, I mean, yes, but I don't know, man. My excuse really is just like getting so just stuck in my routine that adding something like doing a podcast could be done, could be easy to do, but I'm so stuck in my routine that I just don't let it happen.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that happens when you have kids is you get stuck in a routine, especially with the kids going back to school and stuff.
Mhm.
You get to this point where you're just like in autopilot. You go to work, you go pick up the kids or whatever you have to do. You go home, you cook dinner, you watch shows, you go to bed. And that's
Mhm.
like your weekday.
Yeah.
And then on the weekends, it's like you're trying to relax. You're not trying to do anything, right?
No.
At least that's what it is for me. I go to
Winter,
work.
though.
Well, actually, I've been going to the gym. So
Ooh.
that one episode where we did, like our year, what was
Yeah.
it called? What do you call those things? Because I don't ever do them.
There's a resolution.
The resolutions, yes.
Yeah.
We did our resolutions or whatever, and working out more was mine actually, and that hasn't happened until now. Like probably
An entire
a month
more
and-
than a year later.
a month and a half ago. I'm a
Okay.
month-long gymmer so far.
Oh wow.
Yeah, every morning.
So that was April,
that was
beginning of
20
April.
Oh, when I started working out?
Yeah.
Yeah, the beginning of basically.
Okay. So
Jake and I started going to the
we
gym
did the
every morning.
resolutions thing in January of 2020.
Oh my gosh! So it took me 2 years to get to that resolution. That's why I never do them.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. Well, that's okay because, drinking more water was like on both of our lists,
Mm-hmm.
and I just recently did basically, it was like my own made up thing. Like I'm an expert, in it, but
You can be an expert in anything you want to be.
oh yeah,
Fake it till you make
just
it.
put 10,000 hours into it.
Exactly.
But I made up my own like little diet kind of routine thing to try to feel healthier. It wasn't like, it's not really a diet like I want to lose pounds or I want to gain muscle. It was like I just need to feel better and stop having headaches.
Yeah.
So I was changing some things.
Well, there's something to be said about that. Like,
oh yeah,
just feeling better in general. Like, I've noticed that,
that was my
going
goal.
to the gym and waking up early, because I have to wake up early to go to the gym now. So I go to work, or I go to the gym before I go to work.
Yeah.
And I think just waking up earlier and having my brain moving a few more hours before work has helped me at work just be more aware and a little bit more, I guess, in a better mood. Because normally before like 10 o'clock, you could not talk to me. Like, I
No.
did not want to have a meeting. I didn't want to have anybody come into into my office. I just wanted to just chill and do some like mind-numbing stuff.
Blinders, haven't had
Yeah.
coffee yet.
Exactly.
thing.
I was kind of like that. But now when I get to work, I'm like ready to go,
Cool.
which is, it's definitely, I don't know.
That
It's,
first part of the day process happens in a different place.
and having a routine like
Yeah.
makes, I don't know, it just makes me feel better being able to just like say I'm getting up at this time no matter what.
Yeah.
I need to go to bed at this time so that I'm getting enough sleep,
Sure.
and then working out, and then I'm drinking water while I'm working out too, so that helps because
Yeah.
I don't really drink water otherwise still, which is
Yeah.
horrible, but
Well, part of my thing that I was doing was that I basically fasted from anything except for water for the first 2 weeks that was liquids. I ate normally. Like I didn't change my actual food
you're saying
intake
so you
diet.
didn't drink soda, you didn't drink beer,
Yeah.
you didn't drink any of that kind of.
I cut
gotcha.
out like energy drinks.
I thought you were saying that you fasted from food for 2 weeks and just drank water. I'm like, how did you not die?
No. I would have
think
been
I
dead.
actually think you can
I'm a
live
ghost
on
right now.
water for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's
that
like
would
the
have been
maximum.
terrible. I think I would have wanted to die at least, but
Me too.
no, like the first 2 weeks was just switching to only drinking water. And immediately, like on day 3, I got a terrible headache. Like
Caffeine withdrawal.
Yeah, withdrawals from sugar probably too.
Yeah, yeah.
And caffeine put together. But then after that headache, I set my goal to do 2 weeks, and then the next 2 weeks I was eliminating sugar. So, but I was still doing the water thing. So, and then after those 2 weeks, I got rid of almost all of my carbs in my diet. So for the next 2 weeks, so I actually did 6 weeks of only water,
Wow.
and then 4 weeks of no sugar, and then 2 weeks of like super low carbs. And
How did you feel?
I felt extremely good. Like
Best you've ever felt?
Yeah, like I could wake up easier. I was sleeping
You
longer,
get
better.
to bed quicker too. Like
Yeah.
you go
Oh,
to sleep
totally.
after you got in bed faster.
Yeah, I mean, I was starting to feel like I needed a nap during the day, though. Like,
So that's one thing that has
Because-
happened to me too. I'm waking up earlier, and
Yeah.
I think I am getting less sleep now because I'm kind of going to bed at the same time, but I'm waking up almost an hour and a half earlier, and
Yeah.
it's like by the time 3 or 3:30 rolls around, I'm like, I need to just take a little snooze.
for sure. And you know what? I didn't really notice a lot physically. My shirts started fitting a little bit better, but that's just because getting rid of like pasta
Mm-hmm.
and all the stuff that just makes your carbohydrate intake just go way up. But I think that if I was doing that, plus I had like a good workout routine, I'd see some changes real quick.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, we eat pretty good because Sarah has so many dietary restrictions that, I mean, we eat meat, vegetables, and I still have carbs. That's the one thing that
Sure.
isn't something that I am willing to cut out, I guess.
Carbs aren't like terrible. You just got to
and
regulate them.
I don't think Sarah I think she would lose weight if we just did meat and vegetables because that's the only thing because I eat bread and stuff like that too. So I keep my weight a little bit more, but she can't really do that. So
Sure.
if we cut out carbs, it would be bad. I mean, bread would be one thing that she would have to, because she eats sourdough bread, but that's the only bread she eats.
Yeah.
So if she should cut out carbs, she wouldn't have any bread at all. It would be, oh god, I don't think she would be able to keep her weight. I think she would start losing weight
Yeah.
pretty quickly, and she's at a great weight. She's
Sure.
fine. But for me, I don't really eat unhealthy. I guess the only thing that's really unhealthy that I have is alcohol and soda. I
Yeah.
guess I have a soda or two a day, basically. But after working out, I can eat more because I used to not eat very much. I'd eat like pretty small portions, so my metabolism is definitely higher. I guess I can eat more. Like I sat down at Rio Sabina's and their burritos. I ate a whole burrito at lunch, and it's like a whole plate.
Yeah.
And I would never have been able to do that before. But anyways, getting to my point, my chest started getting bigger, so my shirts, all my flannels that I bought from Costco, they fit perfectly before.
Like tight buttons up here.
They don't fit anymore. I like my back, it stretches. It's horrible. So now I have all these flannels that I can't even wear. So now I got to buy some Dixons.
But they're getting tight because you're working out.
Right.
That's a different kind of.
So
problem.
what I'm saying is because I'm working out and my diet is good, I'm seeing changes quickly. Because I think it was within 2 weeks, I saw that change, which was crazy. So yeah, I think you're right. If you kept that going and you started working out, but here's the thing:
honestly,
where's the time?
Yeah, well, I mean, I would like to say that's an excuse, but literally, it's just I would chalk that up to the laziness part of my life, like because I could get up and go work out before work. It's not like I work at a ridiculously early hour in the morning.
Yeah.
Like I could put that into my routine. Do I want to do that? No. Should I? Probably.
Well, and I didn't want to begin with either, but Jake was working out alone at Planet Fitness or whatever, and I went and helped him max on one of his lifts or something.
Yeah.
Remember when he posted on Facebook about that? I don't know. It was right before we started, basically in April.
It was a goal that him and Sterling set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went with him and I was like, do you like working out here? He's like, yeah, I just don't have anybody to work out with. I was like, well, what if we go to Fuel? Like, would you want to come to Fuel and work out with me? And he's like, yeah. And it just so happens that the place he works has a discount with Fuel, so it's like pretty cheap still.
Nice.
Because that was one of the reasons that he was going to Planet. It's like super cheap. It's like
Super
$10
cheap,
a month
yeah.
or something like that. So he's coming to Fuel with me, and I wouldn't go if he wasn't. Like, we've had a couple days where he couldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way I'm going alone. I just can't do it. I can't go to the gym on my own and
You
do
got to
it.
have that
I have
accountability.
no self-discipline. Yeah, it's all accountability from Jake. That's the reason why I'm going.
And Jake has the ability to just go by himself.
I think he's similar to me, but he had been doing it for a while, and it's kind of just in his schedule. Like there's no way he's not going to go to the gym. Like that's how he wakes up, and
like he's missing something if he did.
Yeah, and so
that's a good place to get to.
Yeah, I want to get to that point, but
the
other thing is I don't put enough effort into thinking about workouts and like remembering workouts, you know? So like
what you should be doing
when we
or-
go, he's basically my personal trainer. Like he's
Okay.
like telling us what we're doing, unless we're doing a leg day, because legs are like my favorite thing to work out, which is weird because most people hate doing leg day, which
yeah.
it's like my favorite.
Really?
I love doing squats. It's because I'm good at it.
Squats are fun, but it's like I don't know. I don't like doing leg presses or I don't know any toning stuff like running or elliptical. I mean, a lot of that's like cardio stuff.
We don't
but
do any cardio.
Yeah.
we only lift. There's no
good.
way we're doing cardio.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that the cardio that my body can handle with my asthma would be like doing a stationary bike. For some reason, I can ride a bike. I can do stationary bike, and it doesn't really trigger my asthma to the point to where I feel like I need to stop, because that's been a problem for me in the past. Even in college, I actually worked out a lot, and I started building a lot of muscle, and I was just my lungs would quit before my body, and it was just so frustrating to me that it like I eventually just gave up and quit.
Yeah, asthma's got to be like really difficult. I mean, I've never had to deal with anything like that, and I bet if I did, I would never go to the gym. It would deter me for sure from going, because it's just something holding you back, and that's one thing that you need. Like even if you're just lifting, you still need to breathe. And I mean, I struggle with breathing anyways. I can't even imagine having something that's like physically restricting me, because asthma, that's basically what it is, right? It's just physically restricting your lungs from being able to.
Yeah, it's like an inflammation.
Yeah.
Where your lung bronchial tubes start like inflaming and closing.
Yeah. So a physical, yeah. I don't know if I'd be able to do it, man.
They just need to come on. It's 2022. You guys haven't figured out asthma yet.
You haven't cured cancer. We haven't cured COVID. We haven't cured anything. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, I'm not smart enough to
all
do
these
this.
damn
You guys have to do
pharmaceutical
this.
companies are just making hella money off vaccines that don't even work.
Yeah.
Oh,
trust
sorry.
Me, I've been on like.
We shouldn't talk about vaccines or anything like that. YouTube's gonna kick us off.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. No, but I've been on like 5 different asthma pills, and none of them are like super effective for me. Like I never noticed a big enough change for like this is supposed to prevent asthma attacks, and like, nah. I mean, I've never noticed a big enough change to where it was like worth it to pay for the prescription and do the routine. And
yeah,
I've always just carried a rescue inhaler with me, and when I'm wheezing, I just use it. But what I have noticed, the side note, is I stopped carrying my inhaler with me on purpose. So like when I would get into these situations where I have like my asthma would be acting up, not really having an asthma attack, like where
you can just
like I need some help or
feel when it's starting to like come on, basically.
Yeah, like my body, I was forcing my body to like fix it itself. So I would be wheezing for like 20-30 minutes longer than I normally would if I would just use my inhaler. Then I'd be fine in like 2 minutes.
Do you feel like it's helping your body?
Oh yeah, like
adapt?
I wheeze so much less now.
That's good.
And there's always been this weird connection that I feel like with dairy. Like if I were to become one of those people that doesn't eat any dairy products, which would suck because I love ice cream and I love cheese. But I feel like my asthma would get better. Like it would be reduced at least.
Yeah, so that's the one thing that is weird with Sarah's like food allergies, is that dairy is strictly a sinus problem. It causes like inflammation in her sinuses, and then she like her nose gets stuffed up, but it's not like snot stuffed up. It's like her nasal passages close.
Oh, okay.
So it's possible that it's causing inflammation that
sure in my lungs or
in your airways, because like that's the only thing that it does to her. She doesn't get like an upset stomach or any of those things that people that are like lactose intolerant get. It's just her airways and her inner sinuses.
You know what? Something else is that asthma is like weirdly related to your skin too.
Really?
Most people that have asthma have some sort of form or level of eczema as well.
Do you have eczema?
When I was a kid, I did a lot.
I recently developed it,
but every once in a while, I'll get like a little spot, like maybe where I'm like sweating, like if I'm playing softball or something, I might get a little spot on my arm.
Salt dries you out.
Yeah. But it's just like I'm more susceptible to that because of my asthma. As weird as that is.
That is interesting.
But there's like legitimately people that have asthma that have like really terrible eczema, like where their scalp is really bad, or like, they have like big blotches and things. I'm thankful that I don't, but like they're always connected somehow. As weird as that
I learned
is.
something new.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of why we do this.
You guys need to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sick of using an inhaler. I've been doing it for, I'm not going to tell you.
I wouldn't have been able, I don't know how you do that. I guess
It's been
I guess
part of my life.
if I had,
I don't know what it's like.
I guess if
without
I
it.
had to do something like that, it would just become second nature, I guess.
Yeah. For sure.
The other thing that was holding me back from coming back to podcasting is I was growing this sick beard.
Oh yeah, and I cut mine off.
Yeah, so we're opposite now than we used to be. It's
Oh,
probably
no.
a stark
Hi,
change,
Phil.
stark difference from the last video that was posted.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I just decided that I wanted to change. Actually, I've been even more recently decided. Well, I was thinking about changing again, and just going with only a mustache.
I did it when Emery was born. I had a mustache only, and I loved it. And yesterday or the day before, because Sarah hates the beard. She just doesn't want it. She wants it to go away. Most women don't like beards.
Brooke felt like that for a little bit when I first started growing a beard, and then it was like after a while I shaved it off, and then she was like, I kind of like the beard.
I can't have you not have one now.
I kind of like the beard now.
Exactly.
So then I was like,
We had this conversation the other day, and I was like, well, okay, so we got to make a compromise here, because relationships are all about compromise.
Sure,
we all know this. And I was like, so it's either beard or mustache, one of the two. And she was like, mustache, definitely. And I was like, Really? And she's like, yeah, it's way better than the beard. I was like,
funny.
Interesting. So you're telling me that if I lifted these up and I shaved my beard and then I put these back down, you'd be okay with it? Because I have like a really long mustache now. Because when you grow a beard, your mustache just kind of keeps growing with it.
Just curl.
I could
curl the
literally
corners.
wax it and like curl it because it's so long.
That's so sweet.
And she was like, no, that's not what I meant. And I was like, that's what I heard.
Hey, mustaches can go all the way down to here.
A
bro.
Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
I
her
think
choice.
I think
okay?
in
She
the near
said
future,
mustache.
this is going to be trimmed down, which I'm kind of sad about. But we'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, I can always grow it back.
Well, you're a man, and that's what happens.
It just takes me a lot longer than others to grow it. Like this took like 3 months.
Well, that's turning out pretty good.
But also summer beards. I don't know if I like summer beards.
I honestly thought that I was podcasting with Jake tonight, though.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, Jake,
I do
what are you
look
doing
just
here?
like my brother. You're gonna have to like pop up a picture. Oh,
I will. I'm gonna. Right here is a picture of Jake.
oh, jeez.
Doesn't he look just like him? Yeah, he does.
All right, hold on. I gotta go check the computer. All right, we paused for a second. Sorry about that, folks.
It's just it's a thing.
It's the new production woes that we're going through because we gotta start this back up, and all the woes we went through before, they don't matter because now we gotta restart.
I got to be honest though. When you're doing something like this, it's good to have a friend that's an electrical engineer because like he has every cable. I forgot like 4 different cables when I came over, and he just like opened up a box, opened up a package.
The box is labeled too. It says cables on it.
Cables.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cable box, and there's literally a box with cables in it filled to the top. And I was like, well,
there's always this like drawer or like bin in somebody's house that just
I
has
have
all
that.
the like random cables in it. Well, I was sick of like looking at the bin with just like tangled cables in it, so I took all my cables out of it. I wrapped them up real nice, put them in bags that they like coincide with each other. So like display cables or like display port, HDMI, VGA, all those, they're all in one bag, and they have the label on it.
That's amazing.
So the box is labeled, but there's also bags inside the box labeled.
I don't think this is just a normal electrical engineer thing. I think this is a Phil thing, though.
I think it is a Phil thing because it's been happening with other things in the house too. Like if you look at my spice cabinet,
Yeah.
there's every jar is exactly the same, and they all have a label on them.
Funny.
I'll take a picture of it and send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be
Maybe
cool.
you could like overlay it in the video or something because it's happening in like a lot of
I
different
organize
spaces.
my spices, but not like that.
Because I am like very organized now, and that was one of the things I was really excited about moving to. Is I was like, I'm gonna organize everything. Everything is gonna be perfect.
So let me ask you: is your salt the same size as your like oregano?
So my salt and pepper are actually in shakers, and they're out on the counter because we use
Yeah.
salt and pepper all the time.
Even for like when you're cooking, you use that salt shaker.
Well, it's not. I guess it's not a shaker. It's the like grinder.
Sure.
Yeah, we use those.
Mhm.
And guess what?
What?
They're the same,
They're the same.
but they don't have a label on them. But there's a way to tell them apart.
Is it how many?
The wood,
Are they embossed?
the wood of the salt is lighter, but it's not on purpose. They didn't do it on purpose. That's just like the way we tell, because our shakers are wooden, and one of them just happens to be lighter than the other.
Does like a lot of salt shakers have more holes in them than the pepper has.
No, it's not a
less
shaker.
holes.
It's an actual like grinder. So like
okay.
they're just grinders and they're wooden and
They match,
they look exactly the same.
but one of them is slightly lighter.
One of them
color?
slightly lighter.
Salt.
Yep.
Okay, well, that makes sense. You should switch it up on Sarah. And just put the pepper in the light one.
She would get so mad the first time she used it.
That'd be funny.
Especially because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get the peppercorns and the like salt in the actual containers, because you gotta like pour the
That's why I would give up on those immediately. Like I have.
It's not that bad.
I have
it's
the
only
Kirkland one.
Yeah, so we pour the Kirkland one. that's a funny thing too, because we pour the Kirkland one. It already has a grinder head.
Yeah.
We still don't use that.
And we even have so we have the grinder head ones that you can get from Kirkland, and we also have the one with the removable lid with one side for scooping and one side for, and like I use that all the time. Get my little measuring cups out. I need like a teaspoon of salt. Turn the thing on side to scoop it out.
Yeah, because you're quite the home chef.
Off. Yeah,
that's one thing I've been doing too. Because Sarah used to be the cook. She used to cook everything. She used to like get all the groceries, all that kind of stuff. I order all of our groceries on Walmart.com. I go pick them up because they bring them out. I don't even have to go in the store. I don't have to go grocery shopping. All I do is I grocery shop at my desk at work.
Do they charge you a fee?
No.
Really?
Yeah. To pick up is free.
That's
to
amazing.
deliver there's a fee.
Oh, but you could go and park in the little orange parking spots.
Yep, and they bring it out. It's free. I think they charge. So I think that there's no fee, but I think they charge you more on the grocery items.
Yeah.
But it's not very much. It's like maybe like 50 cents an item or something like that.
That would be a lot of money in the end.
In the end, yeah, it ends up being probably more money, but I don't have to deal with the people of Walmart. And I also don't have to deal with the people of Winco because I don't go there anymore.
Yeah, that's where we mostly shop is Winco.
Which I do like Winco's grocery more. Yeah. Like, it's just a better grocery store.
Yeah, except for their meat section. I'm like so always disappointed.
I agree, but we get our meat from Costco because it's just cheaper.
Yeah, meat at Costco is good, and Albertsons
does have good meat.
You know, one thing we
expensive
started doing is we don't buy meat when we go grocery shopping at all. It doesn't matter where we're at. Costco, Winco, Albertsons.
What do you do?
We buy it on the night that we're using it. So
that seems like a lot of trips to the store.
Not necessarily. Because it might last a day or two, like if I go get, chicken, because I know I'm going to make, chicken tacos or something like that. I'll buy a little extra chicken so I can make chicken the next night too. So it's a little less, but, I don't have to freeze it. I don't have to thaw it out. I'll just go buy it.
What do you do when there's a shortage though?
A shortage of the meat?
Yeah.
I switch meats. I don't know. I haven't run into it yet, but at the same time, there was a time when Albertsons didn't have chicken, and we just switched up what we were going to have that night. But, yeah, that is kind of becoming a thing, isn't it? A meat shortage.
Yeah, so we buy in bulk for like 2 months at Costco when we buy meat, and we just buy our staples. Like we buy steak, or sometimes we leave steak out because it's just expensive. So I mean, you don't have to buy it every time. We don't buy a 3-month supply of steak either. We buy like one package of steak.
Sure.
And then we buy all of our ground beef, chicken. We've gotten like pork sausage and stuff there. We buy salmon.
Ooh, yeah.
Basically all your like normal meats that you would use to cook dinner every night during the weeknights. We buy like a 3-month supply, and then we just freeze it. Like we separate it to like what we would use in a night, like 1.5 pounds or a pound, and use freezer paper and just wrap it up and freeze it. And then we figure out what we're having that week on Sunday, and then we just thaw the meat that we're going to use for that week in the refrigerator. Works out pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds way more disciplined than our meal planning is at my house.
Yeah.
So.
Our meal planning, because I'm the one cooking, I have to have like an instruction sheet and like all that. So what I do actually is I go to HelloFresh, and I download their recipe cards.
Sweet.
And then I go grocery shopping off of the recipe card.
That's funny.
And then I get all the groceries and we cook HelloFresh meals every night.
I've
but
never
we
thought about trying that.
just are doing HelloFresh through the actual grocery store, basically,
That's funny.
without having to pay the premium
My
of HelloFresh.
recipe is like so much more old school than that.
But
like
you also are a good home cook where you could cook something from without having it.
Yeah, I would say I'm mediocre at that though. Like I'm not gonna be like going on some sort of chef show, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like, I mean, the food's gonna taste good when I'm done.
Well, that's the point.
Yeah, for sure. But I like the recipes I have are either from some cookbook where we randomly decided, hey, let's find something in these cookbooks that we have a million of to find something, and then we actually like will bookmark the page or write the recipe down, and then we'll do it again. Or my recipes have come from handed down from my mom.
Yeah, that's cool.
And my grandma, they're great cooks. Like some of my mom was just texting me the other day, hey, remember when we used to do that? I'm like, that's so weird that you said that because I'm literally making that tonight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was just such a cool thing. And yeah, I don't know. That's what I do. I don't have like any kind of plan, and I feel like I should. I feel like I should definitely have more of a plan.
If it works for you, it works for you. That's one thing that like I just have to have structure. I have to like plan everything because otherwise it won't get done. And I just like I'm not very good at working on the fly. Like Sarah can look at what's in the pantry and look at what's in the fridge for like 5 minutes and figure out a meal and just cook it and not have to use like a recipe at all. And it's like I can't do that. I have to have like set steps and figure out like a lot of the HelloFresh meals now I can cook like I just need a refresher. Like I look at the step and I'm like, oh, I got a few. Or
well, that's how you get good.
Some
at
of them
doing
I'm
what
actually
Sarah does.
some of them I'm actually like I can cook them without looking at the recipe card at all.
Yeah.
Which that's what you want to get to, but I feel like you have to do what I'm doing. At least for me, I have to do this until you're proficient. Like I got to do it for 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
Which cooking, I mean, you could hit 10,000 hours pretty quick.
You could. Yeah, you totally do that because some meals just take a long time to cook.
Yeah, because I'm cooking for like at least an hour a night, sometimes an hour and a half too. Yeah.
I just, seriously, one of the best things about cooking at home is like the way your house smells while you're doing it. It seriously is the best thing because, inevitably somebody won't be home while I'm cooking and they'll come in and they'll be like, oh, it doesn't smell like Elias's feet in here. Because that is like a common smell in our house right now is my 17-year-old son's feet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cooking is like, that's what counteracts that.
That's actually a good way to look at it.
Washing his feet and putting some like spray on it or whatever teenagers do to make their feet not smell would be probably a good idea. But instead, we just burn candles and cook food.
Yeah, maybe you could like shower.
That's I should tell him about that.
Yeah. So,
I only
son,
remind him every day.
There's this thing you can do. It's called showering, and you wash your feet when you're in there.
Yeah, you have to do that a lot more than when you were 6 years old. Now that you're 17,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, no, he does good, but yeah, his feet stink.
Shoot, when does he graduate then?
He graduates. He's a sophomore this year. He's getting ready to be a junior. So
wait, he's already 17?
Well, he's going to be 17 next month. So he's like,
oh, okay. So yeah, he's in
it's like
late
right
in the school year, 17.
The school year is when he's age. So at the end of his junior year,
he'll be 18.
He'll be 18. So he'll be 18 his whole senior
Meh,
year.
whatever. That's cool.
Yeah.
He can go buy cigarettes or
cigars
for his
start
friends.
his own little business, selling vape juice to all the freshmen.
That's hilarious. Well, I don't know. They might ban it. Did you hear about that?
What?
The FDA is talking about banning flavored cigarettes and cigars.
Huh.
So like menthol cigarettes.
Because it appeals to younger people?
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. But, I mean, I feel like there's a tinge of racism in it just a little bit because it's like most of like African-American communities love menthol cigarettes. Like,
yeah.
It's like just a thing that they like. I don't know. Maybe it's
become a cultural thing.
Yeah, maybe it's like a taste bud thing where they have a different taste bud than white folks do, or I don't know. Asian food is different than American food,
Sure.
So, but they're planning on banning any type of flavored cigarette or cigar. So like any cigar that you would think of that is flavored. And
like flavored tobacco?
Yeah.
Well, but we like that.
Exactly. So I don't. They're like basically trying to phase out tobacco.
I don't think it'll be so many years before that happens. I feel like.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it will be, but you never
We've been
know.
progressing the other direction. So
Yeah.
I guess it is. There's an ebb and a flow. So
We'll see what
you're going to
happens.
go the other direction at some point.
I mean, at this point, it's all talk, but that's something to
we
think
did.
about.
I mean, since we did our last podcast, actually, marijuana's become legal.
Legal in Montana.
In Montana,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
And they
a
just
different
voted-
subject, but it's kind of the same subject.
They just vote, or the ballot had like overturning it for Yellowstone County on
Yeah.
it. I thought that was weird. They're like trying to get rid of
They're
the
already
sale
trying to
of
get rid of it.
non-medical because Steve Zabawa doesn't want it.
Yeah, he's like the main guy.
He's like the main anti-weed man.
Sure. And I'm indifferent. I just
I don't
am.
really care.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't really benefit me or not benefit me because I'm not a user for one.
Yeah.
But two, like I wasn't really against it.
Most
because,
of-
like I don't know.
As an adult, most of the tax revenue doesn't really apply to us anyways, because what I think they should plan on using the tax revenue from
Yeah.
the sale of it is for schools. I mean, that's what they do in Colorado,
Sure.
and the Colorado schools are
Do you know anything about what they use it for now?
incredible.
in
Nobody
Montana?
knows.
Oh, we don't know.
Well, at
There's
least
not like a
I
legislation
don't
for
know, and I haven't seen anybody post anything like that is giving an indication
hear
of what they're
more
gonna
about
use it for.
Colorado and Washington and how it
Mhm.
affects them more than our own state.
Well, and Denver. Well, I guess not Denver. Colorado in general has had legal marijuana for a lot longer than us, so
Sure.
a lot more of the like funds you've been able to see where the trail of money basically.
Mm.
So maybe we just have to wait until we see the budgets and
hasn't
see
been that long,
where they're going to
so.
divert the money. But I mean, I think it should go to schools, start raising the salaries of our teachers, because I mean, teachers. I have a lot of friends that are teachers, and they don't get paid very much.
No,
Not near as much as they should for as hard as they work.
I totally agree with that.
But I guess as an adult, we won't really see any benefits if they're not going to plan on putting the tax revenue towards anything that really benefits us, like maybe roads or
yeah, I was going to say
construction.
they're not
or-
fixing the roads. I can tell you that much.
That's true. They are doing construction on 56 here.
Yeah,
They're
I saw that. Like, if you go any further down, you're out of luck.
Yeah, so I have to take Grand to 48th and then go down to go to work. It sucks. They're putting in roundabouts. 56 and Central
yeah.
and
Yep.
56 and King are going to have
Actually, a guy
roundabouts.
that I work with lives in your neighborhood too.
Who?
His name is Mike.
Mike.
Just moved in with his wife. Yeah,
Is his wife's name Patty?
Yeah.
They live right there.
they're your
I
next
literally
door
met
neighbor?
him today.
Like your next door neighbor?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because you said you just moved in, right?
Yeah, I hired him like I don't know, 6 months
I'll
ago.
have to let him know that I know Nate and he comes
Yeah.
over to my house.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
crazy. I was putting my camera up in the front of my garage today, and he's like, came over and talked to me and saying hi.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember his name, but I asked him specifically what his wife's name was.
Mike and Patty. Yeah,
All right. Well, his name's Mike.
yeah, yeah. He's a cool dude.
That's
He-
why I forgot his name, because it's
he has a
it's
Harley
such a
trike.
normal name.
Like,
my s-
have you seen his Harley trike?
I've heard it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's one of those guys that drives a Harley trike. So I don't know. That there's a specific kind of person I know. You know,
Yeah.
that
He
drives-
seemed that way.
that likes a Harley trike.
Mike,
Yeah.
you're a nice guy, by the
Yeah.
way, if you ever see this.
Yeah, yeah. You know, Mike is cool. He's good people.
All right.
Yeah.
That's crazy that he's like freaking next door.
Yeah, that's
neighbor.
so weird.
Literally
Random.
right next door. That's crazy.
I did not know that before this.
That's insane.
But yeah, he was telling me he lives in Trails West, and he showed me pictures of his house and some cool things, and I'm like, man, my friend lives out there too.
You didn't
Tell-
see my truck in any of his pictures? Because I've been
No.
parking in my driveway for the past 3 months.
Yeah, it's just funny. He showed me the pictures, and I'm like, yeah, my friend lives out there. We were thinking about buying a house out there too. So I don't know.
They're
It's
still
kinda
building them. They got 70 left.
Yep.
But interest
One of
rates
them's
are
for me.
ridiculous.
70. Number 69 is gonna be mine.
I like that.
Corner
Corner lot.
property 69 is. I'm gonna get that one.
I don't care where it is.
It's it's gonna be
The only
because it's
problem
number
is
69.
you need hella garage space for all the cars you have. Unless you want to,
Well-
store one over here, that your Golf that you have.
Yeah,
You
there's
could
probably
store that one over
some.
here.
I like old Volkswagens, so they're gonna be. They like to leave their mark in places, so I'll probably have to have a storage unit for those guys. But I don't know. That's why I have this old house. My house was built in '56, and then so it's 70 something years older than yours.
Oh my gosh, that is insane. And
Yeah.
I haven't lived in a house that's older than 2000. Shoot, when was the older one built?
Yeah.
I don't know. 2008, something like that. 2010, something like that. I don't know.
I thought it was
Maybe it's 2008. I think it was
15.
2008.
I thought.
No. Mine was built mine was in Josephine Crossing. Mine
Yeah.
was one of the first ones built in there. So it was like, I think they started that subdivision in 2007 or 2006 or something, and then the crazy 2008 crap happened.
Yeah, that's when we bought our house. Was 2008.
But it was a good time to buy a house.
It was. Obama was like, "Here's a bunch of money to go buy a house." We were like, "Okay,
houses are free."
But yeah, I don't know. It's old and it's been really good to us, like really good. You know, we love our old like wood floors and the hominess feels. You know, everything's like tiny. I don't know, it makes it feel cozy, but it's like so.
No,
not
I get that vibe when I'm in your house. It's super cozy and like I like the wood floors a lot.
The 2-prong outlets everywhere.
Had to fix a couple of those.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's about the most modern room in our house is our computer room.
The last podcast, I was watching it back because I wanted to kind of refresh myself at where we were at. We were talking to Paul about your garage and how many good times we've had out there and everything.
Oh man, the garage is
but
so good.
That's like one of my favorite parts about your house is big old garage in the back and enough room for like 2 cars doing projects like side by side jacked up on jack stands.
The actual floor space is almost exactly the same as my house.
Oh my gosh,
but
that's
I have
insane.
like a basement and an upstairs.
Right.
So
the footprint,
the footprint is almost the same. It's like pretty dang close.
That's crazy. That's a lot of space.
It makes it seem like this is a big garage. I mean, it is a big garage, but like it's a small house. So
yeah, it's not that small.
It's like I describe it as like it's a big house made for like little people.
Yeah, I guess that's a good description.
Room
actually,
is like, oh yeah, we have 4 or 5 bedrooms depending on what laws you're going with.
Yeah, it depends on what construction laws. I mean, back in '56, it was probably a 5-bedroom, but now that the codes are different,
and we have a couple, 3 bathrooms actually.
Yeah,
and they all have full baths. So, but everything is tiny. Like the bathtub is 54 inches. A normal bathtub is 60 inches.
Oh, I didn't know
Our
that.
bathtub is from a double wide trailer.
Oh, jeez.
That's the materials that they used when they built it. Because like, if you shop for a new bathtub, they're all 60 inches.
Well, also back then
Standard.
in the 50s, maybe that was the standard size bathtub.
I think it's probably been renovated since the 50s, at least for that bathroom. But I was looking for new bathtubs and literally
couldn't find one that's the right size.
Yeah, if I shop on like the double wide, like mobile home style, like bathroom stuff, find them. Yeah, that's just what we have.
It's probably cheaper.
Yeah, the upstairs bathroom, 60-inch tub. Main floor, 54-inch tub.
Huh?
Yeah, it's weird.
And it's not enough to notice when you're looking at it. Probably you probably have to measure it to notice.
Sure. Yeah, or like lay down it and you're like, oh,
well,
it's so tiny.
Yeah.
When you're 72 inches tall.
I'm not that tall. I think I'm. Wait, so I'm 5'7". How many inches is that?
I don't know. How many
centimeters is it? I think it's like 56 inches or 57 inches.
Somebody will tell us, I'm sure. I'm going to display it right here. A conversion chart.
You're going to have to remember that. You're crazy. All right. So
I'll probably watch this like at least 6 times while I'm editing it.
That's a lot. That's a lot of time to be spending 5 or 6 times, an hour long, probably.
That's why this is the best edited video you've ever seen in your life.
Hell yeah!
Like right now.
Right now.
Just kidding.
There's like flames in the background. 67 inch. Yeah, I was right.
Oh wow. Electrical engineer here. He passed math.
I did actually, and I was pretty good at math.
Yeah.
The only class I did not do well in was power, and guess what I am? A power engineer. So that's pretty funny.
You know what's funny is that I hated doing math class, but I liked it. I mean, no, I hated it, but I was good at it is what I'm trying to say. Like I was pretty good at doing all the math classes that I was in. I just never liked it.
I had this weird thing where I hated it until whatever I was learning about clicked. So, because like you get to this point where all of a sudden it's like, it just snaps and you're like,
now it's easy.
I don't know why this was so hard for so long. And then it just, then it's actually, I guess I'm not like, I don't love it, but I'm indifferent to it. Like it's not, I don't hate it anymore.
That kind of happens with almost everything in life though.
Yeah. For me, it's like, I just hate doing things until I can just figure it out and something snaps and it's just like, there it is. I figured it out. I'm good at this now. Yeah.
It's weird.
Sarah hates that about me because a lot of times it happens with almost everything I do. All of a sudden, I become really good at something.
Yeah, you're like, okay, yeah, I've done that.
I've
I can
conquered
do
it.
that.
All right,
Done.
move on.
Move on to the next thing.
Then maybe that's what happened with the podcasting. I just got so good at it that I just moved on,
Yeah.
and now I'm back.
You know, like I was just, I should have saved it because then we could have shared it in here. But I was reading an article about how being a jack of all trades is actually not a bad thing. It's actually usually been seen as like a bad light because then you're never really an expert about something.
Yep.
But now the new point of view about it is like if you're an expert in only one thing, that's really not great.
Yeah, it's not super helpful.
Like because the times where being an expert in something is actually necessary is really low.
Very slim.
So like being a jack of all trades would be way more useful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I mean, used to be seen in a negative light, but now it's not.
Yeah, I feel like in the engineering industry, we have what's called subject matter experts, SMEs, and a lot of times they're so focused on the one thing that they're a subject matter expert in that they have blinders to everything else. And I think it's a detriment to them in general because you give them the title, then they only focus on that, and they don't focus on anything else. And when you try to talk to them about the other things in their field, they don't. They're like almost regress in their knowledge about it because they've filled the rest of their brain space with and started overlapping with stuff about the one thing that they're supposed to focus on. I've talked to a couple people in while working that were like that, and it was just like really hard to have a conversation with them because the only thing they wanted to talk about was what they knew everything about.
That's why I like contractors so much. Like I'm jealous of like people who are contractors with things.
Yeah, because
like
when they own a home, their house is going to look decent because they know how to do everything.
They know
and
how
fix
to do
everything. Yeah.
I'm like I struggle with that because I need to do. We were talking about our house. I need to do so many things. Like there's so many things I need to do. Can I pay for somebody else to do it? No, because no. Like,
it's the principle of it.
Yeah. No, I want to learn how to do it myself.
Yeah.
And some things I've learned how to do on my house since I've owned it, and I'm like, I can do that now.
Yeah.
Like I can do a lot of plumbing stuff. That's one of the harder things.
We've talked about this before where I hate plumbing. I learned how to do it because I had to fix my backflow preventer for my sprinklers at my last house, but I hate doing it.
Dude.
There's plumbing always leaks. It's horrible.
Dude, I got to tell you, it came up recently since we did a podcast last that like I had to learn something else.
Well, that could have been like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I had to like further my skills in plumbing.
Oh, really?
In an emergency type situation. So like we basically my bathtub faucet was leaking. So it's like, okay, it was dripping for a little bit, then it started like running a little bit, then we started seeing it on the bill. Like
that's not
a
good.
Change in like how much we're paying for water. So I'm like, like I have to fix this now. So Google some things, watch some YouTube videos, trying to figure it out. I'm like,
YouTube University, baby.
I can do this, right? So I go buy the stuff. I get my tools out that I've had for plumbing before. I get everything all set up and ready, and I start working on it. And I did not know the difference between like I thought like I'm putting on like a few new components, but like it turns out that the whole cartridge for like the handle that you turn to like turn on and off the faucet for your bathtub, like that cartridge itself, you can take the little inside of it out and replace it because it like an O-ring goes bad basically. So that's really the only problem that was going on with this. But the cartridge, because my house is so old and the plumbing is so old, they don't even make them anymore.
Oh no!
So
you had to replace the whole
like,
cartridge and like
the whole cartridge. So because
like the housing of the gosh.
And this is kind of how I figured out that some of the like whoever owned my house before and was like remodeling the bathroom, because like my shower walls are actually like linoleum floor. Like
so it's kind of like tiling the wall.
Yeah,
because I mean tile is flooring.
It's stuff that should be going in your kitchen for like. Kind of being waterproof.
I didn't know you could use that.
You're not supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah. So like we're like, okay, this is flooring on our walls. So we figured that part out, and then the whole so the cartridge was still there and was never changed during the remodel. So like the hole in the wall was just small enough for the pipe to come through. but it should be about this big so you
Right.
can get the cartridge in there.
Absolutely.
So like I have a
You
hole
had
this
to-
big.
You had to cut a
I had to
huge hole.
cut a big hole.
And then you had to get a beauty plate to go
Well,
over
the
it.
beauty plate did come
Oh,
on
good,
there.
good,
But
good.
when I took the beauty plate off, the hole was only small.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's not terrible. So I get the cartridge out and I put the new cartridge in and get all the pipes connected and everything, and I did all that really nice and good. But before I could get to that point, the last pipe that I'm putting in is the one that goes up to the shower head. And it's like that much lower than it needs to be. Like cartridge is up here, pipes down here.
And you gotta like.
And I'm like, I can't get
oh no.
the pipe up because it's attached up here. So then the shower hole is only this big.
One thing after another.
So like I'm like, how do I detach it from the inside of the wall? Like I have to take down the wall or cut a bigger hole. So I had to cut literally a hole like this big up where the shower thing is just to take out 2 screws and move it up an inch and then put the 2 screws back in the wall.
Once it was.
And then I could put it in the
Yeah.
cartridge.
Yep.
So then I had 2 bigger holes in my shower wall just because it was leaking. So like once it got it apart and I had the cartridge out, I'm like, there ain't going back now.
Yep.
Like I've got to put the new one in.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me about 5 hours actually to do it.
Yeah, I feel like that's how every home project goes. You're like, oh, this is gonna take me a couple hours, and then all of a sudden it's like
Yeah.
6, 8, 10 hours later, 2 weeks.
So I still have like this little bit. You can still see the little bit of the hole up here. I need to get a better looking like little
yeah,
beauty plate thing
Yeah.
that goes over it. Because they have like the seal in it too, so like the moisture from your shower doesn't go in the wall and
Yeah.
things. So, yeah, I don't know. I had to learn that. That was something I never did before. Like ready to just put in a little cartridge and be like 20 minutes
Yeah.
done. 5 hours later.
yeah. I feel like I know just enough to be dangerous in most things to repair homes.
Yeah.
And by dangerous, I mean like ruin the whole house if
Sure,
I
yeah,
screw
like,
up.
oh, crap.
Yeah. So
Enough to make it like it's either going to be successful or cost more than it would have if I just paid somebody.
And Sarah's
Yeah.
always like, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. I'm like, do you know how to do it? And she's like, no. And I figured you could do it. I'm like,
That's a dangerous conversation.
I could do it, but you're not gonna like the way it's gonna turn out. Like the porch swing out there.
Sure.
She was like, I want a porch swing, and I was like, okay. This was her Mother's Day gift, and I didn't want to install it the way it's installed. Like
Yeah.
the what do they call it? The soffit.
Yeah. Right.
It's metal soffit, and it's really thin, and it's just like nailed into the rafter basically, and the mounts were like a big square, and so when you mount it up there, it like crinkles the soffit, and
Yeah.
so I wanted to cut like a little square in it and like recess it in there so it's on the wood and everything, but then I'd have to
Nice.
caulk it and make it like super complicated. And Sarah was like, why don't you just drill holes in it and just zip a bit in there? I was like, all right, let's see how it looks. It turned out okay, but it's like I know that there's a gap in
Yeah.
between the mount itself and the piece of wood.
So now you feel like it's not as secure.
I feel like it's half-assed basically,
Okay.
and I don't like doing that kind of stuff.
No.
And so every time I look at it, I'm like, nah. I get like kind of angry inside. So
Oh,
now every time she's like, come sit out on the porch swing with me, I'm like, I didn't mount it correctly. It's not right.
my reputation at home is that I'll like have a great idea for something and then I'll start it and I won't finish it.
Never execute.
Yeah, yeah. Or
Execution is
I'll never
difficult
get
for
to
me
the point
too.
to where like I really get past the starting point. Or I'll get some of the materials and I'll get the right tool, and then I'm like I'm a little unsure that I know like the whole process, because I'm pretty good about believing that I can see the end product before it happens. Like I know that, and I do that with other things, like other projects we do. And I know what it's going to turn out like, and I'm like confident in that. But the process to get there, I'm not sure of yet. I'm like, I've never done it.
Yeah,
What's
but
step 4? Because I
but-
don't know that yet.
that's where you have to think about your experience with your plumbing situation,
Yeah.
because it was a crisis. Basically, you had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you had issues that you didn't know that you were going to deal with, and you dealt with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you should look at every project, because then you'll just do them. Like
Sure.
you got to start, and then as you go through it, you find problems, and they may be super expensive problems, but hey, you're in there. You got to do it.
Well, maybe
and
I
your
can.
house is going to turn out better for it.
If I have to like tear out something, I'll just have you come over and like make the first.
I'll do
swing.
the first swing. Yeah,
Be like, oh,
I could be that guy, and I'll just leave. Put a big hole in your wall. And just, see you, Nate.
Look, I got to fix this now, so
That's hilarious.
maybe that would be good.
Yeah, I could definitely do that for you.
That's what I did when
I'll come over and just start
I
putting
first
holes in
put
your walls.
fender flares on my Escort back in the day.
Who cut it?
Yeah, it was Spencer. He was there, and he's like, I'll drill the hole.
Quit being a wussy.
I'm like, it's perfectly nice paint, and look at this quarter panel. You know how much it costs if I have to repair this? Like, he's like, I'll do it. I'll drill it. And he was just like, It's like, all right, I guess I'm doing it.
It started.
And it turned out great.
That's how, when I was helping Tanner build his BRZ,
Yeah.
the white one, he was like, dude, we got to cut these fenders like a lot. And I was like how much? And he's like, well, look at this YouTube video. And then I started watching. I was like, you want to do this? And he's like, yeah, will you help me? Will you like help me do it? And I was like, you want me to cut your car that you bought with your money like that? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, I guess. Here we go.
Yeah, better
then,
you cutting it than him. Like,
it's just like, oh, gosh.
that's what you kind of need, like somebody with no buy-in to just like,
and I think
I'll do it.
Maybe that's why he asked me to help him in the first place, because he knew that he wasn't going to be able to just cut up a car. And I was like, and I was so detached from the situation because I had no, like, he's my friend, obviously, and I didn't want him to like hate me after it. But like, who's gonna like say no to somebody telling them to cut up a decently new car? Yeah, I guess.
Like you could just.
That was
here.
That was a lot of
get
fun.
Started.
By the way, Tanner, we still talk, and we like he's doing another one actually, another car.
Yeah, I think I heard of it. Is this one of them? Like focused on horsepower or something?
So the white one has a turbo on it now. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty scary car to drive. Like he came to Billings like 3 weeks ago or something, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I got to drive it for the first time with the turbo kit and everything on it.
Yeah.
That thing pulls all the way.
car.
Like the boost doesn't really kick in until like 3,500 RPM, but then as soon as you hit 3,500 RPM, I mean, like second gear, you go like 35 miles an hour to like 135 miles an hour, and you just put the pedal to the ground and you're there. It was terrifying, and it has a 6-speed.
Yeah.
So it's like you got a lot more gears to go through.
And I only like vaguely remember this car, but like what the wheels, like when it's like it was lowered and widened and stanced, like does it have good like rubber placement on the ground, or is it cambered?
So it is not like it's within spec actually.
Okay,
I'm
good.
pretty sure. He had to buy rear camber arms, so like the lower camber adjustment, to pull the bottom of.
We
the
probably
bottom
had
of the
this
tires.
conversation before.
I actually don't think we have.
Okay.
So he had coilovers on it to start, but
Yeah.
then he put air, so it's got airlift in it, and it'll lay on the ground. The frame will lay on the ground.
Cool.
And when you drive it, it is incredible to drive.
What a nice car too. I remember cruising around with that thing. Once you guys get finished with it.
It is so nice to drive. It's like comfortable. It feels planted. It doesn't feel like you don't feel like you're breaking your back. You know how coilovers. It's just so stiff that it hurts to drive a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Especially when you're laid out like super low. But with the air, it's like riding on a cloud regardless of what height you're at. And he has it dialed to where he presses a button on the controller and it raises up to the exact ride height he needs to like take corners hard and drive it like you should. But it's still super low and looks ridiculous.
I would love that. I think Air Ride is like literally my next suspension upgrade that I purchased for one of my lowered cars. I think probably for the Rabbit would be the coolest thing ever.
I would definitely love to help you with that.
Let's slam that thing on the ground.
Let's do a video for the podcast.
Yeah.
For it. It'd be cool. We could do like a time lapse of us installing it or something like that, and then talk about it, and
yeah,
it'd be cool.
You know, I mean, I know this is a podcast about everything, but there's a lot of car stuff. And if you don't like car stuff, then that's too bad, because we do.
This is mostly just like, well, at least this first episode is basically just us talking about our lives.
Yeah, I mean, trying to get back
where we're at.
back, into the habit here. But I think we're gonna adventure out a little bit and like do, instead of just sitting here, so staring at us while we have cool pictures in the background.
Our one picture.
Yeah.
Our lone
Which
wolf.
next time we're here, I'm gonna change it up.
And
We're
it's a
gonna do
car.
something. Yeah, Zip Tie Club, July. Wow, 2014. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a year
So
after I
long
graduated
ago.
high school, which for
Time
me is
flies,
crazy
man.
to talk about.
That is crazy. You just had a kid
I just had a kid.
a year ago almost.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I have a 1-year-old, and she is sassy. She like makes faces at you, and she doesn't like. She's starting to do that where like if you do something she doesn't like, she's like
That's great.
or like you're doing something she doesn't want, like you're trying to feed her or something. She's like, nope. It's hilarious.
I don't
I
want
love it.
those mashed up things.
Yeah. Oh man,
Give me ice cream only.
we haven't given her ice cream yet. I don't think she's had like frozen yogurt. Well, that's the
Mm.
closest thing she's had to.
I do love yogurt. I eat yogurt almost every morning.
I do not like yogurt.
Really?
Yeah.
I put granola in my yogurt.
I have had
I buy
granola and yogurt, and that's
granola,
probably the only way
yogurt.
I would have yogurt is to have granola in it. I
It's
gotta have
so
some
good.
crunch. I'm a big
Yeah.
texture person. I can't have something that's like super, like if it's like super mushy
Yeah.
and I don't have anything to like offset it with a crunch, don't like
But
it.
the granola I buy is probably not great to eat by itself. I buy like it's not very flavorful. It's more like just
Grains.
like good things that you should be eating.
Yeah.
And I put it in yogurt
It's fine.
and it's like it's
good.
so good.
It's fine.
It's like putting chips on a sandwich.
Exactly. It's the
It
best.
makes it better.
It makes it way better. I wouldn't eat yogurt otherwise. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love it. That's my breakfast every morning. And I never used to eat breakfast. That's like a change that I actually made in the last 6 months. I eat yogurt every morning. So
Isn't it like good for your belly?
It is. Yeah, it's
Like
good for your
digestive
digestion.
system? Yeah.
To have like those good, biotics
Mm-hmm.
in there.
Probiotics. The
Yeah.
pro.
Because when you get antibiotics,
That is bad.
yeah, dude.
That's actually
You
how
can
Sarah
get
got
messed
her all of her dietary restrictions is from taking too many biotics for too long.
Dude, you can get seriously messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to get messed up.
I don't.
I'm already messed up in other ways. Like, I don't need any other
Yeah, you got that asthma.
messed up things.
Got that asthma.
Yeah. Which, speaking of that, I mean, I love summertime and springtime, but man, the trees, all the blooming trees, you can smell them, and I just, like, my nasal passages go,
Yeah, I normally have like a
So
fit
bad.
of allergies for like a week,
yeah.
and then I'm good. But I haven't had them yet, so
It's Montana, dude.
probably because I
Everything's blooming for a month.
I don't have grass. I don't have flowers. I don't have tree.
I barely have grass. Let me just tell you right now, 2021 destroyed my yard.
Your lawn
Like-
care regiment was not on point.
No, not. It wasn't even that. It was that it didn't rain.
Last
last
yeah,
year
because you don't
it-
have underground sprinklers, right?
Yeah, it basically didn't rain from like the end of May all the way through September.
Well, you got a hose and a sprinkler, bro.
True. And we were watering for a while, but like you get into having no rain for a month and a half, and then the July heat where it's like, remember last year it got up to like 110 for like a week.
For like 2 weeks. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
All of my grass turned brown and died.
Yeah.
And
I was having a hard time with my yard, and I had
Yeah.
sprinklers. So
the way I looked at it was I was trying really hard at first, and then like I live near the golf course, and the golf course was brown, and I'm like, if the golf course can't stay green, what hope do I have?
yeah.
Like, seriously, no underground sprinklers. I have no idea how to like really care for a yard. I've got basic knowledge. If the golf course can't stay green,
You got to have Mark come
Pointless.
over. He's like super into lawn care
Oh,
now.
yeah.
He loves lawn care now.
He's that guy too.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a stereotype dad with the like New Balance shoes, that's Mark.
Yeah, I can see him
He's
just
proud of it
just
too.
strapping them on and rolling up his sleeves and getting out
Totally.
there with the mower and making his New
Yeah.
Balances green.
He would like cancel something important because he has to go mow his lawn.
I love Mark. Actually, so like I have snap streaks with like 5 or 6 different people,
Yeah.
and Mark and I's is at like 200 something. I'm pretty
Really?
sure.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
It's a
That's
lot,
good.
but it's mostly just because like I wake up, we go to the gym, and I just take a picture of Jake and send it to him. I'm like,
Did he send you?
I'm like Mernon.
Did he send you the video of his son Asher
Saying
talking
truck?
about trucks? Yeah, okay, that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
typical
man.
little kid that can't say truck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Asher, he kills me.
Yeah.
So Asher loves Emery because Emery goes to
Sure.
Marcy's,
Yeah.
and they are like
BFFs.
boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh,
They
sweet.
love it.
That's great.
She gets so excited when you go to drop her off. She's like,
Nice.
I'm gonna see Asher. Like you could tell.
Good.
Yeah, and then she sees him and she's just loves it.
That's cool.
and it's horrible.
And
'cause
he's
I'm
such
like,
a cool dude.
I'm like, Asher, you little ash hole.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can be for sure. But that's what makes him so great. Like, I love that little kid. So cute. So funny.
Yeah, so much better than your kids.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I
kidding.
mean, because they're my kids. I'm like, what the heck?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They're gamers, man. My daughter's super gamer.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like,
What does she play?
She plays Genshin Impact.
What is Genshin Impact? See, I'm so far out of the game.
Dude.
So becoming a dad also makes it so you can't really game either. So like, I have not gamed in over a year.
So Genshin Impact is a free game you can download on the internet, and it's also a PlayStation game, PlayStation only.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Represent.
represent.
He's an
I'm
Xbox guy.
Yeah, I like
And
Microsoft.
I mean, it's like Apple and Windows and like Xbox.
yeah, I'm like an
and
Xbox
PlayStation.
Microsoft guy. Can't you tell?
But
this
I
is the
do
one
have-
Apple product I have.
I
Actually,
do have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the
Why?
the
What is up with
swap.
this?
So, because I mean, iPhones are easier to have when you're trying to share photos and all that kind of stuff. Google
Nah.
Photos sucks.
Yeah. By the way, like side note, I got the new S22 Ultra. It's awesome. So much better.
Sarah's
than
dad just got that
my
thing,
S20.
and those are nuts.
Dude, I had the S20 Ultra and I was super disappointed in the cameras. Like that was the thing that made it cool was like the 100 times zoom,
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff. I couldn't even take it wouldn't take a close up picture. Not even like a macro picture. It couldn't take a close up picture of anything. Like it just wouldn't
It wouldn't
do
focus.
a good job.
Yeah.
So this one, you can like set it down and it'll still take a clear picture of the table pretty much.
That's
Like,
insane.
it's so crazy. But yeah, back to the gaming thing. So Genshin Impact is like a free game that's based on Zelda Breath of the Wild, or what's it called? I don't
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
Link?
Yep,
Is
that's it.
Zelda?
Zelda.
Okay.
Well, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I
Nintendo's,
never really got into Zelda, so I don't really.
Yeah, the latest Nintendo.
Okay. Yeah, Breath of the Wild
Breath of
was
the
I
Wild,
think
yeah.
the newest one.
It was like the first open world Zelda game where you could like go anywhere you want, and it's literally the same game, but like all of the things that people hated about Breath of the Wild they fixed, and a bunch more cool things about it, and it's very Japanese. Like the characters are so
Well, you can tell
like,
by the name.
anime driven, like the way they look. Like every dude in the game looks like a girl.
Huh.
Like they're like so gender neutral.
What does she like about it?
Just like I don't know the new cool hotness in games is like gaining these things to unlock. Not I mean you've always been able to unlock characters and things like that, but it's more like drawing out of a hat. You know?
Oh, yeah,
How do you
yeah.
call that?
Like crates or like
Yeah,
they're like randomized.
It's random.
Randomized.
So you have to collect so many
awards.
things.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then you can like, please let me get this character, you know, and then that's how you unlock characters. You don't just like do achievements and when you're level 55 you get to play this character. You could early in the game get this awesome character, but you have to like draw the character.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know, that's part of the cool thing. You draw all your weapons, you draw all that stuff.
That kind of came into play with one of the battle royales. I can't remember which one it was. So like Fortnite came out, and then there was like 3 or 4 others. Like obviously Call of Duty followed suit. Apex Legends, that's what it was.
Yeah.
They had like this thing where you get like these card packs or something like that, and you could get like some really rare skins or something like that. And they were like, if you got them, that was like the one you were gonna use because it was so sick. I guess. Yeah. But I guess it's more character based, and you get more like abilities, I'm sure, with the better character.
Well, and one of the things about some of these open world games now is that it's hard for these companies to like make a multiplayer for an open world game where you can just like both join at the same time and do the same things.
Yeah.
Genshin you can. So like that's one of the cool things about it is that you can join in like groups of people, kind of like World of Warcraft, which is about one of the only games where you can do that. And you just get online and like 4 or 5 people are in the same party and you're just like going through this huge open world game. You can go wherever you want. Like, I mean, one of the newest open world games out there is, you know, Halo, right? I mean, like that's the newest hotness for open world games and you can't do that yet. Like they still haven't figured out how to have other
'cause
players
it's an
in the
Xbox
game at the
game.
same time. Yeah, maybe it's because it's Microsoft. Well, 343, but yeah, it's still cool. I'm still in love with it. We'll see.
I was never a big Halo guy, so Halo never really interests me. And we've talked about that before.
It's good.
But
They redeemed themselves.
You talking about this kind of reminds me of Destiny, sort of, because Destiny is it's not really an open world game, sort of, but you can still like the campaign multiplayer. You can still play with somebody that's not with you.
I think they cheated. In my point
kind
of view,
like that.
they cheated because they made basically a world where like you go one direction and then eventually you get turned around and you come back. So it's like it's
open world,
but
but
you're
it's
really just going the same thing
Yeah.
but backwards.
Yeah, and you're just starting sessions.
Yeah,
It's
you do
basically
the same thing
like
over and over and over
yeah.
again. And
Yeah.
I never really got into
I never
Destiny.
got into Destiny either, but
No.
you just like the way you were describing that kind of
Yeah.
reminded me of the way Destiny works.
But Genshin Impact, different. It's like huge.
Huh.
And there's missions and NPCs and all these little dungeons and things like that you go in, and it just seems like a super well-rounded game for being free to play. And man, she's really into it. Like that's all she wants to do is play that.
What's Elias playing now?
Elias is still on his nerdy games, so he likes
BeamNG Drive.
BeamNG Drive. He does City Skylines.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I've been watching this guy on
Yeah.
YouTube that does City
Oh,
Skylines,
yeah.
and he was actually like by profession a city planner,
Right.
and he's like incredible at this game, and it looks really cool to play. It's kind of like Sims. Like it brings me
Mhm.
back to like, except Sims you're kind of controlling a character and you're trying to make their life better or whatever. But this is like whole city.
Oh, for sure.
I guess Sim City was kind of like that.
His YouTube channel's on at our house all the time because Elias is watching.
It's kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon, sort of, where you're building a city, but in Roller Coaster Tycoon, obviously, you're building a roller coaster park.
But even more so, like you can work weeks on just your road system.
Or just your public transportation, or your sewage
Yeah,
system.
and eventually, like you just move on to build. Like you're just zoning. You're just literally zoning things for a month.
And trying to figure out what zones work best.
Yeah.
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 But that game, like,
crazy.
it's fun to watch, but I don't know if I could play it.
I can play it, but I'm like the kind of like I'm the
You
same
do
way
the
with
ridiculous
Minecraft.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some people play Minecraft because they like survival mode and they'll just like I have to mine to find the diamonds and I'm like nope, creative mode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like load myself up with all the cool stuff.
Like, I have to do enough of that surviving shit in real life. So
I'm going to build a giant tower and jump off and
Yeah.
it'll be funny, you know.
Yeah.
Like Mark and I will play Minecraft and we just like drop chickens from like the highest thing and make the
You two
chickens
would.
like fall. I don't know. We're terrible.
You guys
like,
kill me.
sadistic things. It's just that's the kind of player I am, and I do the same thing in City Skylines where, you know, I'll just like lay down some stupid roads or like I'll build a highway that goes like way over the city for some reason.
It's just super
And
expensive.
then like we'll circle back around at like the lowest level underground that you can make. And it literally is a circle like this that you're driving.
Oh my gosh.
Why? I don't know. Just because I could.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
I'll
I'm
build
like-
a dam and then like break it. And
I'm too
destroy my
realistic.
city.
I feel like I'm just kind of like I don't know. What do they call the person that's like always bringing everybody back down to earth? A loser. I'm one of those.
You're one of those boring people.
Yeah, basically, I'm like boring when it comes to video games. I like play like that Snow Runner. It's because
Yeah.
it's so realistic.
I
like
played Snow Runner
I
too,
just
but-
like realistic games, I guess, is what it is.
But I was satisfied playing SnowRunner with my controller laying on my couch. You weren't. You were the only way you could be satisfied playing that game was like you had to have like,
the wheel, yeah.
the wheel and like you were in it, you know, like you
Mhm.
were driving the truck. And I'm like, nah, I'm in like third person view, like crashing off the mountain. Oh, I'll just reset to the garage. Not a big deal.
That's the only game I played in the last year and a half, actually. I
Really?
like played it for like maybe 2 or 3 hours, probably like maybe a month and a half ago or something like that. And then
Yeah.
I haven't played it again since.
There's like,
There's a lot more stuff
I
now.
was like, there's a ton of maps too.
I've almost beat the like base game. I have like 2 more missions. That's it.
Wow. And I'm like, I have every map and almost like every mod, and I've done like maybe 1% of the game.
I'm like 98% done with the base game,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous. But
Well-
I also played for 10 weeks straight. And
But
Like 8
I'm
hours a day.
I'm satisfied enough in the game. If I could mod it and I like have the best weapon in the game immediately, I don't get bored. Somebody will be like,
That would be so boring for me.
yeah, because like you don't have the achievement of working up to it. So like for me, I'm just like, yeah, let's just go slay some stuff because I have the sickest armor now, and just go do ridiculous things. Like Mark and I would play Elder Scrolls Online, and we would just stand around and like sit in chairs and like play the loot for like an hour. It's like, oh man, it's time for bed. We didn't even do anything.
That is ridiculous.
We just like played the instrument and like trolled other people while they were playing.
Yes, to give an example of the like type of like the realness that I like is, I talked to one of my friends from college, like almost daily. Actually, I'm gonna plug his stuff real quick.
Okay. Plugging, typing, looking up cool things. Ooh.
So my buddy makes freeze-dried candies and freeze-dried ice cream sandwiches, and these are caramel apple suckers. You know, like caramel apple suckers.
That's good.
That's how big they get when you're freeze-drying them.
That
Anyways,
is crazy.
I talk to this kid like every day, and he does like.
I don't know if you can see that.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they
It's kind
probably
of shiny, but like they're huge. Huge.
So he plays like automation games where you
Yeah.
like you set up factories and they like produce things, and then they're supposed to produce them efficiently and all that kind of stuff. Well, there's this game called Satisfactory where it's a first person version of that, and you're actually building the structures and you're building the conveyor belts, and like you're there with the stuff, right? Well, he plays like 2D versions of them where you're just like this little character running around and you like collect all your things and just like build the stuff, but it's not really like that realistic because it's 2D, and it's like he can play those for hours and hours and hours, and he doesn't get bored. I'm an engineer, and it still does. I can't do it. I have to like
That's
be
crazy.
in first person, like building the actual things, and get to see. I'd be able to walk around them and jump and like interact with them and stuff. I don't know. I just can't. I have to have that like realness to it. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
You would think that like most people play video games to like get away from reality, right? Whereas like I'm like I want to do something else that's real life, like driving a truck. I couldn't do that in my real life because like I would have to go get a CDL, and I would have to quit my job and then work as a truck driver, and
what about
I wouldn't want to do that.
Where you have to like colonize Mars or something like that?
Yeah, as long as it's first person. Like if I'm like a character and I'm like flying a ship,
God mode view or something.
right? I don't those. I just get disconnected.
What about like Kerbal Space Program? Did you ever play Kerbal?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Really, Kerbal is like you basically build a spacecraft, and you have to do everything. Like you have to adjust your thrust, and you have to buy the right kind.
So there's a game like that called Space Engineers.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing. You like build your ship or whatever,
Sure.
and then you have to like
Eventually, you have to launch it. And, like land on the moon.
Astroneer, the game I played that on stream before.
Astroneer is cool.
That's similar.
That's more my style, though.
It is more your style, but it's also first person, and you're the character like controlling everything. But I love space. I mean, like, space is something I've always been super interested in, and like I watch a lot of the SpaceX launches, and I mean I follow it pretty closely, but. So that game kind of speaks to me in the space aspect, not so much as like the realism aspect. Because you're like, you can like build Earth in that game. like you have like an Earth extruder that you just like are building formations.
I love
it doesn't make any sense.
It feels like Minecraft, but in space, and
not
you can do stupid
blocks.
stuff.
Like it's like more than just 1x1 squares. It's like very, I don't know, realistic, I guess, in that aspect.
I loved Astroneer. So it's such a cool game. Just dig straight down to the center of the
and you have
planet.
to because that's part of the that's a part of the game.
Unlock the center of the planet. I'm like sick. I dug straight down and there was a purpose for it. It was cool.
Yeah.
And you have to learn some things, but you can spawn a giant soccer ball and build like a space soccer stadium if you want. And like I totally did those things. I flew so high that I died. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you lose oxygen. That's one thing of that game that brings you down to like real life is you have to make sure that you're connected to an oxygen tether or whatever. You're gonna die.
And I kind of hated that.
So
I
it's
only
a
had like
survival
8
part.
spots. In
Yeah,
my
you
backpack.
probably
I'm
hated
like,
it.
Ugh. But then eventually you build like the giant thing, and I'm like carrying everything with you. I'm like,
yeah, the big rover, and you just have everything that you need. Yeah, I definitely did that.
That was cool.
But yeah, so the video games, it has to be real. It has to be sort of like semi Like I have to be able
I
to
think
grasp
that's why
it.
Astroneer was popular, is because it was like the good mesh of both.
Yeah.
Like you could have fun and it's still realistic.
And it wasn't so realistic that you would die so easily. Like losing oxygen. I mean, it would take a long time for you to die, basically. So you could easily just place a tether and connect yourself back.
Yeah,
and,
and the more intense version of this game would be what's that big one where you just like can explore anywhere in space?
I have no idea. You would think that me being like somebody who likes space would know this, but
You would know it if I said it.
probably.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I mean, I've talked about it at work a bunch.
Let me look at the tip of your tongue. It's not there.
Okay. I'm just gonna like type in space game and it's gonna tell me. No Man's Sky. It was the first one.
I've definitely heard of No Man's Sky. I've never
Okay.
played it before.
So yeah, No Man's Sky. I haven't played it on my computer, but I was at a friend's house and he's like super into it, and Spencer is too. I don't know if you've talked to him about it, but No Man's Sky is like such a huge like generated. What are we doing here? Anyway,
Time to go to bed.
yeah, it's an auto-generated like open world game. So like the farther you go, the more the game is auto-generating the next
Oh,
thing.
that's
So-
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can fly into space and go to a planet that is unique, and you will never find another one like it.
That's pretty cool.
The next player on the next game will never see that same planet. That
I think
you're
I'm about to have to go buy this game and play it.
seeing. It's unique to you because of the algorithm.
Hmm.
So, but there's bad guys. There's like,
Monsters
weird
and-
alien monsters
yeah.
and things like that Astroneer didn't have. And No Man's Sky is more like the kind of graphic of like Destiny and Halo.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
Which
that-
I liked.
that type
I
of
liked that.
graphics.
That was fun.
Not like super realistic, but way more realistic than
Than
Minecraft
Astroneer was.
or Astroneer.
Yeah, Astroneer was kind of like what are the cartoony sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Astroneer did have they had certain planets had certain storms. And so
Mhm.
if you were like caught outside in a storm, like some of them had like they're like kind of tumbleweeds, but they were like rocks. So
Yeah.
it was like you get hit by a rock and it'd kill you.
Sure, like some of the plants would like spit things
Yeah,
at you.
yeah.
And
So there were dangerous things, but it was pretty easy to avoid.
Yeah.
There was not like it, and you didn't have weapons against them. Like there was nothing you could really do.
Sure.
You could use your little tool to like excavate under the plants and kill them, but that was like the only real defense you had.
Oh yeah. I died so many times on that game. Like I would just like finally get to another planet and just dig. And I'd be like I'd get to
No oxygen.
Yeah, and then I'd fall like to my death because
Oh yeah, because fall damage was a thing in that game too.
Yeah, and so I get to like through and I'd find a cave that's like a mile deep and I'm like immediately falling.
One of the things I liked about that game too is gravity was different depending on where you were in the planet or what planet you were on.
The closer you got to the center, you were just like floating.
Yep.
It was so cool.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things about that game for sure.
Yeah. Being inside the planet was more exciting than being outside the
Yeah,
planet.
I liked digging more than I liked being on the surface.
That's such a weird thing. Yeah,
Sometimes
I
going
liked
to the
it a
top
lot.
of the mountains like was pretty fun too, though,
Mm-hmm.
because you could see a lot farther.
For sure. And there's little treasures and things like that you can find.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. But yeah, No Man's Sky is basically the same thing as Astroneer.
All right.
Only it's just
I'll have to check it out for sure.
more realistic and highly
Mhm.
developed. So
One thing I want to do with this podcast too is do it in places where we could smoke a cigar or smoke a pipe or something like that, because I like doing that and I like doing
For
it with
sure.
you, because we like that's basically when I smoke a pipe is when I'm hanging out with Nate.
yeah, and that's also equally the same. So, like, I don't know.
So I think it would be fun to. I mean, my garage would probably work. We just have to move some stuff around and all
Sure,
that.
sure. Yeah, and then it'd be kind of fun to pair up with with Paul and do something again, but like more, have like a night where we have both of them together with
Mhm.
both of us. And that
Yeah,
might
do
be
like
kinda
a smash of Culture Beast.
Yeah.
And, oh yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Oh
Because they passed us up.
They did.
You know,
They have
we
almost,
were.
I think they have 30
first.
episodes now.
I know.
And we have 13 is this one. Well, it's technically our 10th episode, but we have
Sure.
13, including the quickies.
Yeah. They passed us up. So we're on to you, Culture Beast.
We got to get moving.
Yeah. I mean,
The war
Quality
of the
podcast.
the war of the Montana podcasts.
yeah.
No,
Quality.
actually,
man, we have to like we have to step up our game if
Yes.
we want to be as good for a conversation as they
Yeah,
are.
that's true. They
Those
do.
guys
They
know
do a
their
good
stuff.
job, and they have points that they want to
Yeah.
go over, and they save things over the. I don't know how long their like post period is. Like I don't know if they post every 2 weeks or post them every month or whatever. But they save like Instagram posts and they go over people's like pages and they like talk about that kind of. I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously everybody has their own thing that they do,
sure.
but they like plan their podcast out. I think beforehand just a little bit, and I think having the month will like because we're gonna try to do it once a month. I think
Yeah.
because I think that was one of the parts that made this difficult for us was we were just doing it too much. And I was talking to Sarah about that. It was like
Yeah.
we were trying to do it every 2 weeks, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and that was just a lot. It was like
Yeah, and
Too
like
much
where
time.
we're at in our lives, I think that
as dads,
and the reality is we're not really doing it for anything but like our own selves and our I don't know,
our
our
friendship too.
desire to be creative.
Yeah.
And to be, part of our friendship too. So yeah, it's for us. So I don't really care what
Let's do it.
Let's just keep doing it.
Yep.
So
I'm excited.
I don't know. I think, we've already got some plans for a couple more that we're going to do. And now that we have a month to get it all together, we're not live streaming anymore. It just didn't seem like it was really a great plan for us to be live streaming. There's so much more that you have to do to live stream. Like
Yeah,
literally so much more.
it would have been a lot more. Like our setup here was fairly complicated in and of itself.
Yeah.
Without streaming, with
For
streaming, it would have been like a whole nother hour that we would have been setting up.
Because there's like this fine line with quality that I want to.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
It doesn't need to be like studio quality.
It doesn't
but
need to be
I
insane.
don't want it to be. I have like a standard. I
Mhm.
feel like that I want to uphold just for my own. I don't know, my own desire and my own quality
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah, and streaming requires a lot more hardware type of deal too. Like if we wanted to record this on my laptop, we could. It's not very intensive to just
Yeah.
record like video and audio at the same time and then mash them into one file. Whereas right now we're doing it on my gaming PC using Streamlabs anyways. So
Sure.
we could stream it. It'd be fine. But I think in the future we're just going to be recording on a camera or recording to one laptop and then recording the audio on a separate laptop, and that's it. That's all the setup it is.
Yeah, I mean, that'll give us the freedom to like go to places and like meet some new people,
Move
sit
around.
outside,
Yeah.
do some of the cool things that we want to do. That's more our style, more like what we do in real life, instead of trying to be a specific way every time.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
because we're doing this for us.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot more chill,
Yeah,
more relaxed.
cool.
I like it.
Well, I think I'm totally good with like, we're done.
Yeah,
We're
dude.
done. That was awesome.
It has been almost an hour and a half, I think, almost. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it's been good to get back with you and talk with you and kind of catch up because we actually haven't hung out at all
No.
since, I mean, it's probably been a couple months.
Yeah, when you have a kid, I wanted to make sure that you had. I wasn't bugging you really, even though that's probably not the case.
No, it
but
wouldn't have been the case at all.
It was more of like I want to let you have your time with your new family and things like that. That was part of it anyway.
Yeah.
And part of it, like we already talked about, I didn't really have an excuse. Like, I was just stuck in my routine. So like,
Well, I'm using my child as an excuse, but really, did I have
it's
one?
a good excuse.
I don't know. Is it?
Well, you can use your kid for an excuse. It's like when,
Is that why we have them?
well, I think it's for slave labor, but
Oh, okay.
yeah,
You hear that?
I mowed the lawn the other day, and I have a 17-year-old.
Who the hell?
kid. I know.
I've been mowing the lawn since I was like 8.
I like it though. Like,
Yeah, that's one thing. I'm
went
like,
mowed.
I'm mad that I don't have grass because I'm not able to cut it. I just got a new lawnmower,
yeah. Ooh,
the DeWalt electric
we should
one.
just go mow the dirt.
Just vacuuming the dirt. Oh my
Wave to your
gosh.
neighbor.
We got to get out of here.
Yeah.
To my neighbor that you work with.
Yeah. You should just be like, "How was work today, Mike?"
They'd be like, what?
Be like, "Get any cool shipments in?"
Did you hang out with Nate?
He'll be like, "What? who
I know your boss.
this is creepy. I'm putting up security cameras.
So you hired him.
Yeah.
You're his boss.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot dang, son.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike, you're never going to watch this, but we know you now.
He might Google you.
He might.
But you're mostly Nalo and everything, so how would he know?
Well, it'll probably come up. It'll probably come up. We talk about a lot of personal stuff at work, so I know almost everything about him because I quiz him on stuff all the time.
Oh, shoot dang, son.
But yeah,
Nothing secret.
nothing secret at work, Mike.
I would never want to work for you.
I will find out all of the secrets.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
he's a good dude.
we better wrap up. We got to get
Yep.
friggin' going. It's like, I don't know if you guys know, but it is friggin' midnight right now, and I have to wake up
noon.
probably at like 6. And there's a Formula 1 race tomorrow. Oh, that's one thing that we'll probably talk about more too. So
Yeah, I agree. I got so many other things. Like I had a little bit of a list. I was going to talk about some sports and things.
we got
Hockey,
we probably have
baseball.
like 30 hours of stuff we want to talk about, and only
Let's
1
freaking
hour
do it.
a month to talk about it.
For now, we're going to end, and I'm going to eat one of these caramel apple
All right.
ciders.
Sounds good. Peace out.
Peace out.
You can have one of those actually.
Well, yeah.
We've got it.